Welcome back, sailing fans. Those of you who are watching from around the Bahamas, around the world, over the internet, YouTube, Facebook, we've got sailing in beautiful Georgetown, Elizabeth Harbor, the 69th annual National Family Island Regatta. Captain Plug, this is the last race for the day.
Yes, sir. These are the big boys. Everybody's been waiting to see the A-class race. And still windy like it was yesterday, but looking forward to a very competitive race here.
Absolutely. I believe that we've lost one of the A-class sloops to a mast issue from yesterday. Ed Sky out of the race, out of the regatta. I think mast is split, and she's been retired, so she won't be a part of this race at all today. But we've got another 8 sloops. And Captain Plug, if you want to run down the line and give us the positions.
Okay, sure thing. So just like the B class earlier today, during the skippers meeting Tuesday night, we drew numbers for your starting positions. So for today's first series points race, starting off in the number 1 position is a new legend out of Long Island. Going off in number 2, Captain Gene from Exuma. Third starting position is Rough Justice out of Long Island. Starting 4th today, Ed Sky is a scratch. So the next one would be Good News. And then we have the Running Tide, skippered by Stefan, who wants to sweep this regatta in all the classes. Then we have the Silent Partner, yesterday's winner, and the Tidal Wave on the far end of the line. The boat yesterday that had the rip sail, but still managed to pull off a 3rd place.
All right, and again, excuse me, results from yesterday's cup race. Not a points race, but still important, because if there's any issue down the road and we have to not say race, then yesterday's race will count. And so coming across in first place yesterday, Silent Partner, Buzzy Roll, 2nd place. Running Tide was able to catch the tidal wave after she had a sail ripped, and so she got a 2nd. and 3rd place. The tidal wave sailing an amazing final stretch. Her sail ripped in half. Those guys holding on for dear life came across in 3rd place, and I think the legend pulled up the 4th place spot. Today's race sponsored by Captain
Super Sea Marine. Super Sea Marine is the sponsor of today's A-class race, brought to you by Super Sea Marine.
All right, and from our vantage point here, looking out, we've got an excellent view of the start. The only race so far that's starting right in front of the government dock and the broadcast booth. And so if you are here out on the Regatta Park and you want to see everything even with a better view than from the big screens, just make your way out to the front here on this viewing platform that is set up, and you'll get an excellent shot of the start as these boats get started. And we anticipate this race is going to be fairly quick. I believe the course shortened a bit, even more so from yesterday, Captain Plug.
Yes, it has been. We were running a little bit behind schedule, but doing better than yesterday. And I know we'd like to get it all finished so we go home and clean up and get back down here later on for some beverages.
All right, and in today's races so far, some of the same skippers are sailing in all 3 classes. Earlier today in C class, Buzzy Roll, Best Stefan knows in the C class. In B class, Lady Sonia not having a very good start, and Buzzy wasn't in it at all, but Stefan, always a name to call, was able to run away from the fleet and bring in the bacon for B class. And so now they're up against each other again. Buzzy hoping to repeat yesterday's dominant win by the Silent Partner, and Stefan in Running Tide, I believe, now trying to upset and claim his spot at the top. Tidal Wave, though, Brooks Miller, I believe, is a little bit salty from yesterday's incident with the legend, and is going to try to prove that the Tidal Wave is still a boat to be reckoned with. And saying all that, the legend, a boat that has dominated also for a while, looking to claim her spot. She's got, I believe, the most horsepower when it comes to downwind with that supersized mast and sail that she carries. But upwind, it may be a little bit more of a struggle for her, but we'll see.
Yeah, the rip sail yesterday, they've been able to source another sail. We saw them out here a little while ago practicing, so we'll be looking for number 16. Not sure how big that sail size is going to compare to the rest of the fleet. And, yep, I know Buzzy and the boys on the Silent partner there would love nothing better than to repeat yesterday's performance.
And there you have it. There's the tidal wave aforementioned. She's sitting in the number 9 position, so on the far left side of the course. The Legend, the boat that she had an incident with yesterday, is on the far right side. So by faith, they were numbers picked, separated them from having any type of contact, I believe, on the start, just in case anybody was trying to think about getting even.
They should be clear of each other, that's for sure. Now, when they get to the windward marker, you never know.
And I believe we just had the 1 minute gun.
I see some smoke.
And so get ready, fans, sailing fans. The start of this A class is going to get ready to roll in a mere 40 seconds and counting.
You see all the crew standing up on the deck holding the anchor rope, ready to hoist and go.
Tidal Wave famous for getting her sail up first and getting good starts. We'll see how that plays out today. Yesterday she started in the number 1 position. Today she's in the number 9 position. And we'll see how she fares as this race gets started.
We got a pretty good line there. Everybody's behind the marker line. And I think the race committee's got the 200-foot markers up and out of the way. Just waiting for that starting gun now.
Which I believe we're going to get in
Cruiser,
less than 10 seconds.
Cruiser at the ready.
Get ready for the start coming up. You're going to see the heaving and the hoving. Hopefully no false starts. There's the gun. They're pulling.
And here we go, folks.
They're pulling.
A-class underway.
This is what fans have come out for.
All right,
we're going to see.
Let's hoist and go. Smash up them waves today, boys.
Let's see who's going to get the sail up first. Tidal Wave already getting that sail up.
Pulling that sail up quick.
These guys normally very quick on the hoisting.
It's a balancing act between how far you pull your anchor before you start pulling the sail up. Too quick on the sail, you just kill your forward speed.
Silent partner also trying to get her sail up.
Legend sail going up.
Legend sail going up. Good news going up. New Courageous going up. Running Tide going up. Rough Justice going up.
Silent partner under sail.
And gone.
Looks like they're going to have to duck under number 17 there.
Tidal Wave sail up, but not making any movement right now. Silent partner about to come under her.
Coming under her with a lot of speed. Tidal Wave needs to get moving.
While she's there flustering, trying to pick up speed, Running Tide on the top is also underway.
Silent partner now hard up under the breeze. Full speed.
And nothing happening right now for Tidal Wave. Rough Justice having issues also getting the sail up. Captain Jean now powering out.
Rough Justice seriously got a problem. Their sail's only about 2/3 of the way up.
And Silent Partner once again getting out to a pretty nifty start. Running Tide out to a nifty start also. Rough Justice left behind. Legend deciding to go all the way on a starboard tack from this number 1 position. And she's going upwind first.
It's only the number 1 position is allowed to tack over or start on the other tack there. But maybe to their advantage to go off to the right while the rest of the fleet sails off to the left.
Rough Justice finally getting her sail up.
Rough Justice, they're going to tack over to the right. Captain Jean steaming ahead.
And I believe Pat Smith on the tiller today. Tidal Wave finally starting to gather some speed. But you've got and so a clean start for everybody. Off the line.
Tidal Wave just going off the screen there, getting up to full power. Silent partner, yesterday's winner right there in the middle of your screen. There's the Rough Justice, number 10. So 2 boats have gone over to the right side of the course, while the remaining 6 off to port.
And good news, holding herself well. New Courageous, sailing well also. Running tide, trying to stay with them. Tidal wave now trying to make up some of that ground after she faltered just a bit on the start. But the good silent partner is looking extremely well. That sail looks magnificent.
It does, Dwight, and she also looks fast compared to the other 2 boats on top of her. She's going to step right out in front of them directly.
And of course, Buzzy Roll on the tiller, winning it yesterday. And he's going to look to try to repeat. All right, I believe we see our first tack. Running tide tack, silent partner tacks behind. So there's New Courageous. They're all covering each other.
Takes a few seconds to tack these boats over, folks. They're big, heavy.
Jean also tacking. Tidal wave is going to come all the way to the top, I believe, before she tacks. Doesn't make sense to tack under the boats at this point.
No, actually, if they go out into the middle and then tack over, they might be on ley line for the windward marker.
And I believe that's exactly what they're going to attempt to do. Silent partner right now just having a little bit of an issue. It looks like Good News is stalled. She was last to get to the line. And right now just stuck in the harbor. Sail doesn't seem to be getting any wind at all.
No, they tacked over and didn't do a very good job of it.
And so everybody going to starboard right now, except for the tidal wave still on a port tack.
They just gone off the screen, but looking out here in the course, I think they have also just tacked over now. So perhaps the right side of the course is the way to go today for the A-class boats.
And as they make their way down to the mark, and as you can see on your screens right now, the boat far right, running tide. Good News. And silent partner coming with a whole oil of speed.
Look at the bow wave coming off of running tide there on the right side of your screen. She is
making a lot of wake.
Pushing some water there. Good speed, 7, 8 knots.
Silent partner seems to be carrying a larger mainsail than both New Courageous and Running Tide. We'll see how that plays out.
So Courageous on the left, silent partner in the middle, running tide on the right. All 3 on port tack, heading up towards the windward marker over by Stocking Island.
I think if you look to the top right corner of your screen, that will be your windward marker.
Yes, it is. Absolutely correct, Dwight.
And that being the case, it looks like Running Tide may have to shove down a bit, loft off a bit, because she may be higher than the marker at this point.
Courageous getting a real good lift there to windward. Silent partner coming into your screen, yesterday's winner.
I don't see a committee boat around that particular buoy, so that probably is not the mark.
That may be the one that's marking the debris out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good news. Seems to have gotten sorted out and back up to speed. Meanwhile, silent partner stroking, trying to make up, shorten that gap between himself and the other 2 boats there. And here comes another boat across.
Legend. That massive sail. She's gonna cut silent partner. Not sure whether that's going to be an advantage at this point. And she's gonna have to go behind the Good News and the Running Tide.
So we got the Running Tide, Courageous, Silent Partner.
Legend. To your top right, I believe we have Captain Jean. And maybe, I think, Rough Justice coming.
Rough Justice coming in on starboard tack.
hole.
Yes, because they went over to the right early.
But they're going to be at the back of the fleet right now because Captain Jean is about to go across a bow.
Captain Jean has cut the Rough Justice.
And we'll see if we can pick up where the tidal wave is at the moment, considering that she went on the high line. She should be coming from the top of your screen. There's the tidal wave. Looks like she's definitely cut the Rough Justice. And certainly ahead of Captain Jean.
So we got the windward marker. It's just gone off to the top right of your screen there. In a moment, you'll see the cluster of boats around it, the spectator boats. Great work from the drone operator today.
And Running Tide now is starting to put some distance between herself and the rest of the fleet.
Silent Partner pulling in front of New Courageous.
Yep, she's going hunting. Buzzy's trying to hunt down the Running Tide.
Running Tide may be on a real tight ley line to the marker. If so, they'll just pull right up to the marker and tack around. Silent Partner is going to be off a little bit. It's probably going to have a little bit of a run into the marker on starboard tack.
Beautiful shot there from the drone. And just look at those boats. They are motoring along super fast.
Right now, the Courageous is a little tighter to the mark, but I think Running Tide's got it.
There you see that mark coming up just in the far right side of your view, going out of view just for a minute. We'll pick it up again as they make their way to the upwind mark. And we're going to get the drone back in just for that view.
We didn't hear any word from the race committee about the course, but I'm going to anticipate a windward, leeward, finish to windward, as the B class did a short while ago.
All right, this is going to be tight. Running Tide.
Tacking over. Number 5.
And it looks like Courageous is going to be coming in with a whole lot of speed, right up on the mark. She's going to be right on her tail.
She will be. So the Running Tide is going to clear the marker first. Courageous coming in hot.
There goes the Courageous. Clean tack around. And tidal wave.
A little wide there for Courageous. They could have cut that tighter. They'll set their sails and their crew now for the run down to the leeward marker, which I believe is off of Monument Beach.
It looks like Captain Jean.
Real tight. Whoa,
And
whoa,
we've
whoa,
got a
whoa,
collision.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
We've got a collision. We've got a collision between the silent partner and another ripped sail.
Silent partner just plowed into the prize on that boat.
Another ripped sail. Another sail incident. We're gonna have a collision to the mark.
What's the other boat? I don't see the name.
And
Is that the New Legend?
It may be the New Legend again.
Oh, boy.
Involved in another incident.
I'm not going to make any call on that, but you saw what I saw. That's for the committee to deal with stuff like that. All we do is just call the action for you folks.
And while that's happening, I believe the tidal wave was going around next, and we're going to have to wait to get our drone back up. And it would be, I don't know, unspeakable if we have a second incident with the Legend and another boat and a ripped sail. Like, I would not want to even be on shore tonight.
There'll definitely be some upset, that's for sure. Going to knock you out of the points race. Very difficult to come back from a high point score. So if they're unable to finish, they would end up with 8 points.
I don't see any sails down as yet. It looks like silent partner is still sailing, so maybe the sail was not ripped. It seems like they're still sailing, and we'll pick up exactly on which boats were involved in that incident. But while that was happening, I can tell you, Running Tide is just taking off, and it's going to be up now to the New Courageous to try to stop her from coming across.
New Courageous with Stefano Kemp on the tiller, skippering that boat.
And New Courageous, you know, a boat that sails well sometimes. And
Courageous, named after an America's Cup boat in the 70s. According to Jed, they named it Courageous. The America's Cup Courageous won twice in the 70s, earlier on with Ted Hood on the skipper as a skipper, and then later on in the 70s with Ted Turner, which a lot of you will know from TBS. Ted Turner was also an international, very successful skipper in the 12 meters. So that's where Courageous gets her name from, an America's Cup boat.
Well, there you have it. A little bit of history, factoid on the name of the Courageous. Well,
waiting for that drone to get up. The boats are completely out of our view here at the freight dock, thanks to the boats at the dock. They'll be coming back into view soon. Get the drone up, that would be good. Many thanks to Super C Marine for sponsoring this race. Couldn't do it without your support. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. And we're going to wait for the boats to come around from behind the freight boats here at the dock, and hopefully we'll get a drone up shortly as well. And see if there's been any change in positions since they went out of our view. But seems like A-class has turned out to be the race where we're going to be having some incidents to talk about for the rest of the regatta, Captain Plug.
Well, that's two now for sure to talk about and rehash. I'll be curious to find out what the actual story is of that, but there was definitely contact between the silent partner and the New Legend. Here we go. It's like Running Tide still out front.
Running Tide still out front.
Courageous.
Courageous second. You can tell from the black mark that that's silent partner. And I believe Legend and Tidal Wave.
There's 7 boats in the shot, so I think they must have all got going. I don't think Good News is in the picture. So maybe no rip, just a hard collision. I don't think anybody went into the water. Thank goodness, excuse me.
Well, Captain Plug, I have got to excuse myself from the broadcast. I've got a flight to catch. And once again, it's been a lot of fun broadcasting with you.
Absolutely, Dwight.
Hopefully I'll be on with you for the ladder races tomorrow evening. And then again on Saturday. We expect to have some guests, commentators, assist you for the first 2 or 3 races
all right.
Tomorrow. But all the best with the rest of this race, and I'll be tuned in to the broadcast to hear what the final results are.
All right, very good.
We invite all of you who are continuing to watch to continue to watch to the end of the race. We're still in the second part of the first lap, and we'll see how this one finishes at the end of the day. But currently, as it is, Running Tide in first place, New Courageous in second, Silent Partner in third.
Safe travels.
All right, folks. My co-host is leaving for a graduation ceremony tomorrow, so we'll carry on calling this race here. Running Tide, number 5 there, out front, sailing well. Boat's nicely balanced. It's like a medium sail on there, a medium-sized mainsail. Drone operator panning around. New Courageous stomping along in second place. See if they can make up any ground on the Running Tide there before they get to the leeward marker, which is off to our left here, to the west of the freight dock, over in front of the Peace and Plenty. Running Tide, looking good. New Courageous there, just going off your screen, followed by Silent Partner in third, yesterday's winner. New Legend behind the partner, and the Tidal Wave behind the partner. Sailing these downwind legs, you're not allowed to go immediately behind the boat in front of you and blanket the wind out of their sails, called bedding. No bedding allowed on the downwinds. If you pass, you must be at least 1 boat length clear of the boat you're attempting to pass. Meanwhile, New Legend continues to hold about a 6-7 boat length lead over second place Courageous. And Buzzy and crew inching along in third. We're on the downwind leg of the first lap. Fleet not so spread out. Sometimes in these A-class races, the fleet gets really spread out and it just really becomes a parade, but that's not what's happening right now. Silent Partner is inching up on second place. Not sure what the collision was with the Legend back there at the windward marker, but they seem to have gotten around the New Legend. Running Tide there. Stephen Knowles on the helm. Scotty Harding up bow, giving the skipper directions to the leeward marker, keeping him appraised of the traffic around him. So we have 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th on your screen there. Tidal Waves holding on our 5th after a little bit of a poor start. Rough Justice and the New Legend. Good news back at the windward marker there, top of your screen. So looking at the fleet as I go by here with my naked eye, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost evenly spaced. Maybe a bit more of a gap between first and second. Courageous holding on to second and keeping a pretty good distance on third, the Silent Partner. This will be a starboard rounding to avoid the jibe. No gate. So starboard rounding, harden up and go off on starboard tack, back up to the windward marker for the second leg, second lap. running tide about to sweep around the leeward marker there. You'll see they'll bring the sail in, sheet the sail in, get the crew up on the prize there to balance her out. Okay, so the running tide's around in first place. Holding on a second there, New Courageous, clearing the leeward marker, followed by Silent Partner. A shout out to everybody that's leaving messages on the live chat. If you can hear me and see the broadcast, let us know you're watching and where you're watching from. Silent Partner, third place around the leeward marker. Fourth place, the Legend. Fifth, Tidal Wave out of Staniel Key. Tidal Wave clear the lower marker. Okay, I got a new co-host here. Go ahead and introduce. There's Tanaj Manos from the Exuma Sailing Club. Welcome to the broadcast, Tanaj.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, man. Good to have you. Let's help me call this race here. We got Tidal Wave out front with Courageous in second. Silent Partner in third there to the far left. And we got a boat tacking over. I think that's the New Legend with that tall mast. Silent Partner fourth.
Yeah, Silent Partner looks like they're going for an immediate cover on them for sure.
Well, yeah, you know, in the first lap, most of the boats went to the middle or over to the left. Two of them went to the right, and I think it paid off for New Legend, who unfortunately got in a little bit of a contact situation, the windward marker, with the Silent Partner.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think points are definitely going to be applied for that.
There should be a penalty because there was contact. I don't know who was at fault. That's not my department. Silent Partner and Courageous. And looks like Rough Justice over on port tack, as is the running tide. Tidal Wave still holding on to starboard. Maybe they'll sail out to the left a little bit more. Meanwhile, the running tide holding on to first place in that second windward leg, going over to the marker over by Stocking Island.
Yeah, they definitely have a much better course this year compared to last year, being able to use the whole harbor
Sail
for their
trim.
upwind, downwind.
Sail trim there on running tide, a little questionable right now. Look at that bubble down in the back.
Yeah.
We got Cameron watching from a Exuma Yacht Club. Ralph watching from the Monument. Brooke Melvane. Hey, Brooke watching from St. Pete, Florida. Alan and Dale from Memphis say go Tidal Wave.
So just to give you guys some reference here, this is the second back up the windward leg. They've already done the first upwind and the first downwind. They're heading back up to that windward mark now, off to the southern point of Stocking Island. Just about everyone and their brother is on port tack right now.
Still got these doggone windy conditions, so nobody's flying their big sail today. We got looks like mostly a selection of mediums.
Looks like number 17 is definitely running a small, but smaller than Silent Partner, not a small.
Yes, great observation. That's, I think that is courageous. So they must have borrowed a sail from somebody because their number is 02 or 2002.
Yeah, it's quite interesting when the wind comes up. You get to see all the different boats using some of the different sails. We see some of the B-class too, using the C-class large sails as their heavy wind sails, and so it's interesting to see that compatibility between the boats.
Yeah, I'm sure you know, Tanaj, that sail selection is critical.
Very.
Put on something that's too big, it's just going to be too much power, and you're not going to go as fast as you might like. Put on a sail too small, and the other boats will just blow right past.
It's a very different concept in comparison to the one design sailing, where you have one rig for all wind conditions and you just have to power and depower that rig. You know, being able to have that selection and such a wide variety depending on, you know, how deep your pockets are. You can have a wider selection of sails for a wide selection of wind speeds.
Yeah, that's a good point. These sails are not inexpensive. So at a minimum, you got to have a small, a medium, and a large. But you could have a small medium or a medium large as well. That makes it 5, I should say. Meanwhile, let's see here. That's got to be the Legend to the right. Silent Partner creeping up.
Yeah, Silent Partner has definitely just put their bow down and gone for speed.
As they exhibited yesterday, they had pretty good boat speed yesterday, and they've got it today as well. See if they can catch the running tide, though, out in first place.
I don't know. They're definitely a bit lower on their lay. They do have the boat speed, but they are closer downwind than running.
All right, Silent Partner with the Legend just above them.
Yeah, they're still bowing down. You can definitely notice the difference between those sailing styles there. You can see the running tide is a bit more heeled and focusing more on having their boom in tight and heading upwind, compared to Buzzy on Silent Partner doing a low style sailing with the sheet out and the bow down.
Rough Justice coming into the picture here. Telephoto lens makes it difficult sometimes, but so they're below Silent Partner and the new Legend, considerably below.
And I believe that's New Courageous far to the windward side, up to the top left corner. Now it may be close between them and Running Tide coming up to the mark, because Running Tide will tack onto starboard, but it depends on what their angles are right now on the port tack, where they will end up on that starboard ley line. But Silent Partners definitely closed the gap, that's for sure.
Pretty good boat speed going on, that's for sure. Great drone work here. So
that's our windward mark coming into frame there at the top right corner of the screen. That's what they're aiming for, and I believe Courageous may have even overstood the lay there for sure. They might be pulling down to that mark, which would not be in their favor, as we learned on Terry Ann. But pulling down to the mark, you have more speed, but you lose a lot of windward ground, and so that can be a disadvantage in certain situations.
all right, Rough Justice is tacked over. Try to get back out to the middle of the course. Still looking for the Running Tide. She's here somewhere, I think. Okay, I thought that was the Legend.
Oh.
Thinking Running Tide is over here to the right, unless something's happened to them. No. Running Tide's got a number 5 on the sail. think you may be right. That may be the running tide at the top there. In which case, the silent partner would have made a really good ground.
Yeah, I believe that Courageous possibly traded the lead with running tide going too far.
Beautiful drone shot of Elizabeth Harbor here and Stocking Island in the background. There's the cruising fleet.
Apologies, that is not our windward mark. The windward mark is further upwind, and so Courageous has not overstood the lay. There is just a random buoy in the middle of the harbor for tickles and grins.
I think that's actually marking a piece of debris, some kind of heavy equipment or something that went in the water.
Is it? Okay. Yeah, we have our upwind mark up to the top left corner now by that far left powerboat wake. So these boats still do have a ways to go. So while we're waiting for these guys to head up to that that upwind mark, what are your thoughts on the competitiveness and the competition in the A class in terms of how often, you know, positions change and how easy it is or how hard it is to catch and gap other boats?
Well, with yesterday's race and then what we got going on here today, it's definitely not been a parade, which the A class can be. We've had some position changing, and we've also definitely had some contact and other sail rippings. These are very challenging boats to handle. It takes good coordination between the skipper and the crew. Cara watching from Nassau. Hi, Cara. Watching from the head of Lake Superior, Mr. Davenport. And Isaacs pulling for the running tide. Thank you all for watching. Right now we have 242 people watching. What do you know? Well, 243 now. Area code 242 in the Bahamas.
All right, so up to the very top there, we still have New Courageous in the lead. This is running tide here, and Silent Partner has actually started to drop back. So they may have started going for a bit more point instead of speed, or the chop further down in the harbor, maybe taxing them a bit more than they wanted to, but they have definitely dropped back when it comes to them being in line with Tide's bow.
And what sort of factor would tide be in this race? I'm not really familiar with the tides here in Elizabeth Harbor.
I wouldn't, at this spot in the harbor here, I wouldn't be too concerned with current and stuff because of it being so wide. But
okay,
closer to the downwind mark in the shallower water, there may be a very slight current going north.
Going north, gotcha, okay. Well, we'll keep that in mind.
I see this to be a very interesting maneuver because I do not believe that they are making the mark right there, and that is the New Legend.
It's the New Legend with that big mast. Is that Courageous at the top of our screen there?
I believe so. Now this is going to be a starboard to port here with New Legend and Rough Justice, is that? Or
so hard to see the sail number sometimes.
It is. Now, New Legend is not making the mark right now, and so I believe they're going to have to do 2 more tacks.
Running tide, tacking over to starboard, leading up to the windward marker, number 5, running tide.
That is a early tack.
That's a very early tack. They really have to pinch to get up there. They're bringing her around.
Okay, Legend may be able to make that mark, but they definitely can't. I'm not sure what the conversation was on that boat for that maneuver to have happened.
Courageous on the left, Legend on the right. On the top of your screen, Running Tide is clear. They finished their second upwind, and they're now on the second downwind. Leeward marker over off of Monument Beach on Stocking Island.
Okay, looks like New Legend is going to be able to work up to that mark. I don't know about Courageous.
Courageous is there's going to be a struggle. They tacked a little too early. You can only pinch so much.
Still pretty close for Legend as well. Looks like they're going to have to do a pretty good luff around the buoy. Courageous, what is the plan here, guys? Are we tacking or are we luffing? All right, looks like he went for a luff. Notice the speed. I think they're going to try to go for a tack now. There's no way you're luffing from there.
Very difficult to make that marker.
Now they're going to go for a tack, and I don't know if they have enough speed for that, but we're about to see.
New Legend is around and clear. Now they are attacking. It's just going to kill their speed.
It is. And now we have
Silent Partner coming in on a starboard tack.
They are raging up, and they are definitely going to just pass below them, or this may be a very interesting situation here.
Looks like they're going above.
They are coming very fast in A class.
Oh man! Look
oh
out,
boy,
boys.
that's a collision.
Watch
that is
out,
a collision.
Boys.
Wow,
Oh.
that is New Courageous and Silent Partner.
Courageous.
A penalty for New Courageous on port tack.
Serious fouling right there.
Wow, that's something you don't see every day in the A class.
So
That
both
was-
of them have lost their speed. Meanwhile, here comes a tidal wave, full speed ahead. Let's see if she can get up and catch them up. I'm sure there's a lot of yelling going on between Silent Partner and Courageous there.
They're going to be yelling, but New Courageous is definitely in the wrong there.
No doubt about it.
Doing that tack right there next to the mark. They should have given themselves a lot more room. I mean, it was a desperate situation, but it was a dangerous idea to try and do a maneuver right there.
Tidal wave coming up with a good head of steam.
But now this is going to be very close between these boys for second, third, and fourth. Makes for good racing. We do not have any reports of damage on New Courageous, and it doesn't look like they've gotten any damage. They were mostly side to side by the time the collision happened, but it could have been a lot worse, and so we're thankful for how it happened.
So we're neck and neck there between Courageous and the Silent Partner. Tidal wave coming up behind them.
Now, what I see happening right now is Silent Partner is going to apply pressure to Courageous, and Tidal Wave is just going to be able to work themselves up on that windward side on both of them if they keep this up like this. You can see Silent Partner trying to set that jib now and get as much sail out so that they can keep their nose out, and Courageous is already starting to drop back, but Silent Partner is definitely close, if not in the dirty air of New Courageous. Sorry, not New Courageous. Tidal Wave off to the left there. So
She's coming up fast.
Oh, yeah.
Tess Newbo watching from Nassau. Martin Cooper, how you doing, Martin?
All right, coming up to the mark now is Rough Justice and
Captain Gene.
Captain Gene.
It's going to be a tight one also. Show some respect and give each other the required room.
Right. Now in this situation, Rough Justice would have the right of way, being the closest boat to the buoy.
They're neck and neck.
Now Captain Gene is definitely trying to go for a rolling maneuver. They're just bow down right now, trying to give them their space, but also go as fast as they can. We have some very nice racing going on right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there they go. They're starting to pull around the bow of Rough Justice.
A little more speed coming out of Captain Gene there.
Yeah. Look at that boat difference between Gene and Rough Justice, though. Rough Justice being a bit lower and sleeker to the water, and then Captain Gene being higher and more broad.
Very distinct shape that the that boat has.
Very
Captain
coming
Gene.
down. I believe this is running tide.
That is the running tide, yes. Stepping out, leading the fleet down to the leeward marker for the second time. Bowman Scotty Harding calling out instructions to skipper Stephen Knowles.
Just to give you guys some reference right now, in the back of the running tide, that's Chat and Chill. They're now making their way from the southern area of the harbor, coming down north to their downwind marker, and they are moving with some very good speed right now.
Gina Wilson says go tidal wave. Bev watching from Florida. Cameron says go tidal wave. Lorenzo, hey Lorenzo, watching from Nassau. Running tide. Running to roll down the course to the leeward marker.
They have opened up a very comfortable gap now. All they're worried about is what's for dinner tonight.
I'm thinking about the same thing. Some great action going on out here in beautiful Elizabeth Harbor, folks. Thanks for tuning in to watch the broadcast. It's the first points race out of 3 for the national championship in the A class. These boats are 28-foot length overall. Crew of about a dozen, depending on the wind conditions. Second place.
During the breeze that we had, at best of the best, I've seen as many as 16.
It's a pretty stiff breeze today, that's for sure. And 16 is a lot of crew to coordinate back and forth on the prize. Running tide. A little difficult sometimes to see the monitor here, folks. That's why you see me doing this. I'm squinting, trying to see which boat is which. And here comes the silent partner there in third.
So I believe that's a New Legend in second, right?
I think you are correct. New Legend in second. Running tide first.
New Legend in second.
2 Long Island boats. Then we got Exuma, Black Point, silent partner. And we got, looking at the naked eye, I got 3 boats almost in a line there.
They are
fighting
so
for
close
third,
together.
fourth, and fifth.
You can definitely tell where the action is in the fleet. It's where all the power boats are gathering around trying to see what's going to happen next. Now this is going to be a very interesting rounding as they're coming around this bottom mark.
Yeah, lots more spectator boats out today. We got Aaron Knowles says go New Legend. People them. 81 for life, that's silent partner. Leanne Harden, how you doing, darling? Says go running tide. Luke Knowles says I know what's going on. Got Audra pulling for the Rough Justice. Keep saying it in your comments, folks. I'll give you a shout out.
The Rough Justice is still battling with Captain Gene in the top right corner. And behind them will be good news coming around the upwind mark there. Now I'm really hoping that the 30-minute time cap for the first boat crossing the line to the last boat will not apply to good news today. I really hope that doesn't happen because we want everybody to be able to score points fair and evenly.
Yes.
But you know, the race has to end at a certain point, unfortunately.
We got to try to stay on schedule, and there's more activities coming up this evening on the shore. Meanwhile, the running tide
fighting their jib stick,
battling the jib, perhaps getting ready for the marker rounding down here at the leeward marker, where they'll leave to starboard. Bowman's giving instructions to the skipper, getting the crew ready for the the weight shift. Joseph from Tampa, go tide away. And your bro Barry staying in peace and plenty. Hope he's out here watching. Claston, Jacksonville, thanks for tuning in. Some exciting racing going on in the A class here, especially third and fourth. They're neck and neck as they head down to the leeward marker.
Yeah, it looks like Tidal Wave unfortunately dropped back a bit. All right, on your screen now is Running Tide rounding that downwind mark and getting ready to head back upwind. There's a top-down view straight onto the boat. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Excellent drone shot.
That's something you don't see every day. Look at that boom bend, though. Wow.
That's a, oh my gosh, I see that out of the end there.
Wow.
All this wind, folks, it puts a lot of pressure on your equipment, and things bend and stress and sometimes break. As happened yesterday to the defending national champion, Ed Sky. They broke the mast. Thankfully, it didn't come crashing to the deck, but they broke the mast, and it put them out of the regatta. Just lone pressure.
Yeah, we had a double today with breaking mats for the ESC, taking out Mako's mast and Termite's mast. Mako was before the race, and Termite was during the race.
Yes, if I'm correct, Mako was able to execute a repair or replacement and get back in, right?
Right. We took the rig off of one Bahamas, the mast, the boom, the sail, everything.
Okay.
Just completely took it off and put it straight onto Mako. So they raced today with Mako's hull and one Bahamas' rig.
Whatever it takes to get the job done. We want everybody who's here to sail if at all possible.
Absolutely. So that now is New Legend coming around the downwind mark in second place behind Running Tide. They're still working on getting that sheet in, and that is no joke. I mean, that looks like just a 4 or 5 to 1 on that boat, and pulling that in is no easy task. You can see 2 or 3 guys heading to the back of the boat now to try and sheet it in.
Excellent point, Tanaj. And if you're new to sloop sailing, the rules do not allow any winches or electronics.
Right.
So they're doing it just like our forefathers did back in the day. No power assist. Just manpower.
I mean, I'm personally still surprised by the low amount of pulleys that they use on these bigger boat main sheets. It's amazing. They only use about a 4 or 5 to 1, so that's really not a major advantage.
Here we got the silent partner with that distinctive Lundy Robinson logo on their mainsail. They're coming around on their outside. Is that Rough Justice?
No, it's New Courageous.
New Courageous. Sorry, New Courageous, you're correct. Coming into view now.
And Tidal Wave is in the follow.
Silent partner. Sail trimmed right in tight. Looking to repeat yesterday's victory. Buzzy wants to make up for his poor performance so far in the B class. He exonerated himself yesterday in the A class with a great victory. And he'd like very much to repeat today, but he's got his work cut out for him because the Running Tide is out in front of him.
I would not put any of those 3 boats, Silent Partner, New Courageous, or Tidal Wave, out of the running for 3rd place. Even though they came around that buoy in that ranking, it's still a whole nother upwind, and a lot can change in that distance. Coming down now is Captain Gene and Rough Justice, and it really looks like the distance between them has not changed at all. And I mean, they've come down quite a distance, and so that's really surprising, honestly. But they're about to round up now. Looks like Captain Gene is just half a boat length or a boat length ahead of Rough Justice coming around that downwind mark. And now the right-of-way changes, as Captain Gene will have the rights going around that mark, and Rough Justice will have to keep clear and give them as much room as they can.
On the shout-outs, Leanne, thank you for your kind words. Got Cameron over at Staniel Key. Go Tidal Wave. So we got somebody here saying they want the Abaca Rage back. That may happen soon.
Working on it.
Yep, I know she's coming down here to Exuma, to the Exuma Sailing Club. William says, let's go tidal wave. We got somebody pulling for silent partner. Antonio, watching from Nassau. Bernadette, let's go tidal wave from Staniel Key. Rachel, go tidal wave. Got a lot of fans for the tidal wave out there. William, go tidal wave. Gregory, first time watching, says let's go Buzzy. Tidal wave, I think she's back about 4th or 5th. There's somebody asking where she is.
She's in 5th right now.
Go silent partner out of Black Point. Let's go silent partner. Watching from Nassau, Antonio.
So as of right now on port tack, we have Running Tide and New Legend. Also, Tidal Wave are on port tack right now. Captain Gene, Rough Justice, Silent Partner, and New Courageous are still on starboard. And so Silent Partner is probably going to play this defensive against New Courageous coming up on this final upwind leg here.
Yeah, so we've just been informed by the race committee that we will do a 3rd upwind and a 3rd downwind, and then we will finish over here by the freight dock.
Wow.
So 3 full laps on a piece for the A-class boats, but with this breeze, they're sailing pretty quickly, so it won't be long before it's over. Don't leave your seat now. Meanwhile, Running Tide continues to maintain a pretty decent lead over 2nd place. We've got a couple of boats going over to the left side. Buzzy's bringing the silent partner up the middle. I'm sorry, no, it looks like silent partner's gone to the left. That's Tidal Wave, number 16, coming up the middle.
Yeah, Tidal Wave is coming up the middle right now. We have all white boats on port tack.
See how that works out for the Tidal Wave.
I find it. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you go ahead.
I find it so interesting how the boats are spread out, but there are different races going on right now, like the 3 cluster between Tidal Wave, Silent Partner, New Courageous, and then the duo between Rough Justice and Captain Gene over here. It's like 3 or 4 different races going on at once.
Absolutely. This race is not a parade, folks. Stay tuned, and let's see how it all shakes out when they get a little closer to the windward marker there.
Now, what he means by the race not being parade is they're not heading around in the same order, going around and around and around. Order is changing. There's overtakes, there's dropbacks, and there's gaps being opened up for sure.
Antonio watching from Nassau. Go silent partner. Another one for the Tide. Rough Justice. Andre at Harbor Island pulling for Rough Justice. Stephen Smith, thank you for your kind words.
The current time gap right now between the Running Tide and New Legend is 5, almost 6 minutes. And the gap between them and Tidal Wave is about the same. And so those 3 boats are well spread out. We're going to have that time gap coming up for Silent Partner and New Courageous in just a moment.
Those 2 boats that went over to the left have tacked over and coming back now. That should put them on the ley line to the windward marker. The question is, will it be quick enough to gain on the other 2 boats that are going over to the right side of the course, and they'll have to tack over and come into the marker on starboard. So still got a ways to go before we get to the windward marker.
We have a possible misstage by Captain Gene. Okay, they got through. It was just a slow tack, but they are still defending against Rough Justice. It looks like Rough Justice has actually taken the windward advantage, and Captain Gene has gone leeward, and they are going to keep Silent Partner and New Courageous in our view.
Yep.
But they're a bit further off to the left, still battling out. Not for last, but second to last. We still have good news coming around the upwind mark.
Silent Partner, that distinctive sail logo. Courageous. Side by side.
So as of right now, the time gap between New Courageous and Silent Partner on their ley line is only a few seconds, but they are on different lays. Silent Partner is definitely a bit more windward than New Courageous is, and so that can be used to their advantage. Pretty much all they have to do is do nothing wrong at this point in time, because they're just going to head over to that marker now and do their tack onto the lay.
No mistakes. Dwayne, watching from Nassau, says, let's go Buzzy. Wenzel, go Silent Partner. Watching from Port St. Lucie, Florida. Baston, all the way from Jacksonville. Let's go Buzzy. Some great action going on here in Elizabeth Harbor in this first points race for the E-class, A-class. Still a pretty good battle going on there between the Partner and the Courageous.
Yeah, so the fleet looks like it's split into two match races right now between Silent Partner and New Courageous, Rough Justice and Captain Gene. Tidal Wave is probably still pretty close to Silent Partner and New Courageous, but it will all depend on how they set up when they do that tack in the middle of the course or off to the right side.
Meanwhile, right there in the middle of your screen, Running Tide, out of Long Island, Stephen Knowles on the helm, marching up towards that marker on the top of your screen. Clear air, no boats around him. Stefan is a multi-talented skipper. He's sailing this regatta in all classes, E, C, B, and A. So keep your eye on him. He's a force to be reckoned with.
For sure.
So the boats are mostly out of our view here at the broadcast booth. We're depending on the drone now. Still got the Running Tide coming with a full head of steam going up to that windward marker. Spectator boats wanting to get into position, get some good pictures of the marker rounding, getting ready to cheer for their favorite boat. Just wish the wind would drop off about 5 or 6 knots. We could put up the big sails, but I don't think Mother Nature is going to grace us with that for the remaining 2 days of the regatta.
Yeah, the big sails are absolutely gorgeous on these boats. You know, seeing them completely maxed out on the booms and on the masts, it's really, really gorgeous.
If you ever get a chance to sail on one of these boats, no matter what opportunity, and do it, it's a pretty unique experience. It doesn't matter whether you're racing or if you're just out for a pleasure cruise. It's quite the experience to get under that big sail, get out on the pry, and feel the motion of the ocean. Silent Partner and Courageous. So I think we've got our first, is that our lead boat coming downwind here in front of the broadcast booth?
Unfortunately, that is the opposite. That's good news.
Oh, good news. Oh my gosh, she's just finishing her
second leg.
Her second downwind leg. Go, good news.
Yeah, there's Running Tide now, still making her way upwind.
Running Tide, pushing the water aside. Sails trimmed to the max. Crew just so on the pry, keeping that boat heeled to the optimum angle.
There they go for the tack now. Now, tacking these boats with this many people on it, it's a complete, you know, choreography, making sure that everyone is doing what they're supposed to be doing and everyone is in their place at the right time, at the right place. You know, even just one or two persons being off can completely throw the tack off, and, you know, it can make or break your race depending on what position you're in or how hard you're fighting against another boat. And it's very important to have clean tacks and clear tacks for sure.
One bad tack can ruin your whole day. These boats slow down fairly quick and don't accelerate so quick. So you don't want to scrub off any speed if you can help it. You want to keep the speed up.
Well, you know, a really bad tack can ruin your whole regatta because your boat can become a barrier reef if you're not careful.
And that we don't want, especially with these big boys.
Yeah, last year we had Rough Justice unfortunately grace the bottom of the harbor, and we're really hoping we don't have to see that again.
No.
There goes running tide around the top of the windward marker.
She's clear. And I think that other boat there was a New Legend coming around.
That should be New Legend, yeah.
Here she comes into the right side of your screen. New Legend out of Long Island. Skipper. Where are we here? David No.
Them come together since they split tacked at the leeward mark. I think Good News is just out for a cruise right now. They're just enjoying their day.
It would seem so.
Then there goes New Legend around the upwind mark.
New Legend, second place. Going to do their best to run down their fellow Long Island boats. The running tide. Silent Partner coming in hard on port tack.
Tide wave up on starboard.
See who can cut who. Tide wave on starboard tack would have the right of way.
You can see the bowman on Silent Partner. He's looking over that jib. I don't even think he's blinking right now. All right, they've got it. I think they're going to be clear ahead as long as they execute a nice clean tack around the buoy here.
Yes, once the Silent Partner is able to tack over and establish themselves cleanly on starboard, then they will not have to worry about being the wrong tack with no rights.
Now, New Courageous and Tide Wave are definitely going to have eyes on each other.
This one's going to be closer for sure.
Yeah, much closer. Now, judging by their name, I think they're going to have the courage to send that tack right in front of Tidal Wave or just leeward of them. And if they're not careful, like we said, you know, it can be a very sticky situation. All right, yeah, that's not a whole lot of space, but they're definitely going to go for the tack.
Yes,
Tidal
I think
Wave is raging in.
Looks like they got enough room to get over and get established.
There we go.
For the running tide, the tidal wave gets up on them. Here we go again.
Very nice.
Clean marker rounding between the two of them.
So it's about a 2.5 minute gap right now between Silent Partner, New Courageous, and then a handful of seconds between New Courageous and Tidal Wave. So when we say these time gaps, that means when they went around the mark compared to how long it took the other boat to get around the mark after them. And if you were to put them into physical terms, it would mean that the boat in front would have to stop for 2.5 minutes for that boat behind them to catch up.
That's a significant gap, that's for sure.
Here we go. We have a position change between Rough Justice and Captain Gene compared to when they came up the last time. Rough Justice has gotten the hand up on Gene on that upwind leg.
Coming into the windward marker. Rough Justice on the inside. Captain Gene on the outside. So that is second position, I think. The Legend right in the middle of your screen. Third place would be Courageous behind them.
The Silent Partner.
I'm sorry.
Courageous and Tidal Wave are still duking it out for fourth. And there's our leader, Running Tide.
Running Tide, right at the bottom center of your screen. New Legend in second.
What a gorgeous harbor to be racing in right now. You can see the seaweed and the reefs on the bottom.
So the boats, the A boats, are making their way to the leeward marker. Their third trip today. They'll clear the leeward marker and then tack back up to the freight dock here for the finish off of Regatta Point.
Once again, just for reference, behind them now is Chat and Chill on Sisseton Island as they're still making their way down that downwind leg, sorry. They'll be very soon coming into view for us here in the booth.
On the shout-outs. Let's see where we are here. Pitchell wishes he feels like he's right here in Exuma. Pamela, Rough Justice, let's go. Jason, Running Tide or nothing.
Yeah, feels like you're right here in Exuma. It's a big shout out to Gray's Media Production for broadcasting this National Family Island and just getting better every year with their broadcasting and with their live feed and stuff, showing us what's going on.
Doing an awesome job. Cameron says the new commentator is good. Keep him around. Thank you very much for your kind words.
I can't stay around for long. I'm still sailing one class.
Jeanette, let's go Legends. Antonio, yes, we got conch salad out here. That's what I had for lunch. And it was good.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, I am going to take a time gap in just a moment, but I believe that New Legend has closed the gap on Running Tide just slightly. I don't think it will be 6 minutes anymore.
I don't think so, but definitely they closed up the gap. However, Running Tide still maintaining a fairly comfortable lead. If you want to call it that, you really can't get comfortable until the race is over because anything can happen and you got to be ready for it.
Oh yeah.
One little dip of the boom into the water or a crewman slips and falls overboard can really change things around. But right now, Running Tide looking pretty comfortable. Legend, probably a slightly larger sail, making up a little bit of distance on the downwind.
So that gap now between Running Tide and New Legend has closed to 117 on the downwind leg. And we're going to see what it is between New Legend and Silent Partner in just a moment.
Third place, Silent Partner. Very easy to determine which boat that is with that big logo of the late Landy Robinson stenciled on the sail.
And that bright red hull.
Bright red hull is also a giveaway. Buzzy in third. I'd like very much to catch these two boats and have a repeat of yesterday, but he's got his work cut out for him. Once we clear the leeward marker, it'll be a race to the finish.
Right now on your screen is the A1 Water Taxi A-Class. New boat just built.
That's a good one. So the water taxi's got a few of the guests out spectating, watching this exciting A-Class racing from Elizabeth Harbor and Georgetown, Exuma.
Wow, the gap between New Legend and Silent Partner is only 58 seconds right now. That's quite close.
Fifth and sixth coming into view. Either tidal wave and rough justice, or is that courageous?
That's courageous.
5th and 6th, courageous and tidal wave out of Staniel Key, duking it out on the downwind. Okay, we got our lead boat is around the, no, sorry, that's good news. We got a boat heading this way, but that's good news. They're putting the sail down.
Yeah, good news is retiring from the race.
So there'll be a DNF. Meanwhile, behind them there, Running Tide is running.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. I'm not sure if they were having some technical issues or if it was just bad luck, but today definitely wasn't playing in their favor. They were struggling to keep up for sure. All right, so the time gap between the Legend and Silent Partner was 58 seconds last checked, and the time gap between Silent Partner, New Courageous, and Tidal Wave is going to be 56. Now, when I say between them, it would be Silent Partner, time gap between New Courageous and Tidal Wave, because they're so close together. We really can't have a gap for both of them.
On the shout-outs, Renzo37 says we're doing an awesome job. Thank you for your kind words. Warren, Tidal Wave. Broadva, let's go Legend. Okay, Running Tide is clear of the windward marker.
Very nice tack from them.
And they have tacked over to port, and they're going to make their way up to the finish line.
Next up to go around that downwind mark is New Legend, and they are making their turn as we speak.
Nice tight turn by the Legend.
Now, once again, it's interesting to see the difference in sailing styles. We were talking about it a little earlier, but if you saw that rounding just now, the Legend definitely takes a bit more time to get their sheet in compared to Running Tide, and so that can be a different main sheet setup and a high fly on the screen right now. But that can be a different main sheet setup, a different setup for how they pull in the sheet, who pulls it in, or where they pull it in. You know, these boats, they're made to be very similar in size and in weight, but at the end of the day, they're quite different from each other.
No doubt about that. Sail trim is critical. Running Tide there in first place, got a little flap going on the main, but probably not going to affect them too much as they're getting fairly close to the finish. But you don't want to see the luff of your sail flapping like that if you can avoid it.
Yeah, it looks like they can tighten up their leech line a bit more. There's Silent Partner coming around the mark. We were talking about how tough it is to pull in that main sheet. You saw the fellow on the back just now trying his best to crank it down, pulling down on that boom. And we expect to see a tack from them pretty soon, so we're just going to keep an eye on them as they head up on starboard. Probably not for too long before they send it into attack. And there they go now, tacking on to port.
Meanwhile, Running Tide coming up. New Legend in second, closing the gap up a little bit.
But yeah, the boats to watch for sure is going to be Tidal Wave and New Courageous. They're pretty close coming up on this final leg, and I still believe anything can happen. Now, I really think New Courageous gave them a mile and a half to go around that mark, which I wouldn't have done. I mean, at the end of the day, these are very large boats, so you have to be careful, but you know, it's still a race. You don't want to be too careful. It's risk versus reward, you know, but they are still on them very close. It looks like they're actually going to duck down a bit to duck their boom, but I don't believe we're going to have any penalty for that.
Looks like an all clear.
Yeah, they're going right into attack.
They're pushing their boats and their crew to the limit right now.
Oh yeah, this is beautiful. Classic match race between them.
Courageous tacking on top of the tidal wave.
If you were racing here right now, who would you want to be? Where would you want to be? And what would you want to do?
I like to be out on the pry, man. Best view in the regatta. As for which boat, I'll be on any one of them. It doesn't matter. pretty much just about any one of these boats on any given day can win a race.
Wow.
So
Tidal wave is just rolling right now.
they've definitely found some speed. Courageous, falling over a little bit, spilling air out of their sails. Tidal wave. Full throttle.
Now, if I was to tidal wave in that situation, the only thing I would be looking to do is to work up very slowly. Of course, not too slow, but just working up on them and seeing if I can't get them directly.
One boat. Second place.
Now, the running tide has done very well. They sailed a very clean race. Good
Finish line.
maneuvers.
Yes, finish line is in view. Here comes the running tide for their gun. Spectator boats lining up to give them congratulations. Maybe take a picture or two. And your winner of today's first points race.
Wow, that's really not a large gap between them.
Running tide. I didn't hear a gun. They're almost there.
All right, they have just crossed the line, and New Legend really has closed in. I mean, the gap has pretty much disappeared.
It doesn't matter. They're in second.
They've
not going
crossed.
to take first.
New Legend has taken that 1 minute gap down to just 25 seconds, but
That was an impressive comeback.
that was.
Coming up now, your third place finisher. Fuzzy roll on the tiller, the silent partner, Black Point Exuma.
And on our screen is the match race between Rough Justice and Captain Gene. But here's our third place finisher.
Following the silent partner out of Staniel Key, you have the tidal wave, the legendary tidal wave, Brooks Miller on the tiller. Brooks, a seasoned skipper, sailing these races. Valiant job to that crew for finishing third yesterday with a ripped sail. Almost got second. Looks like they're going to have to settle for a fourth today.
Very close racing, though, I have to say. You know, in these larger classes, it can be a bit difficult to be competitive at times, but these guys are making it look easy. They're trading blows, trading positions, and changing up the entire race at each buoy mark, at each mark rounding.
Great shot of the legendary tidal wave there. You can see the bowman up front. He was pointing for the skipper, telling him which way he needs to go. The skipper really can't see in front of him because of the sails blocking his view. Bowman is critical on these big boats.
And you can't see anything from the back of these boats, really.
You are dependent on your bowman for instructions. He's depending on you to keep the boat hard on the wind, coming upwind.
The scariest situation, though, is to be the skipper of these boats and your crew's yelling starboard. You don't even know what boat's coming, where they're coming from. Everyone's saying push, pull, keep straight, push, tack. Everything is going on. And that's why it's important to have a good bowman relaying your messages back. And it's good to have good crew communication as well.
100%, 100%. New Courageous.
Tidal wave across the line. They've
Fourth place.
gotten away.
Courageous coming in fifth. Working their way to the finish line.
New Legend. So just to recap there, Running Tide came first, New Legend came second, Silent Partner came third.
Well, it's been a pretty great race out here as the last couple of boats head up to the finish line.
I think I see
That's the Rough Justice, number 10.
that's Will Parodi on the main sheet on the stern, working hard. Captain Gene is coming in right behind them. They're heading into the finish line now.
What a great race.
Oh, yeah.
Tanaj, thanks for coming up to help me finish calling this race, man. It's great to have you on board. You're obviously pretty knowledgeable on the subject. Maybe we can do it again some other time.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Captain Gene is bringing in the back right now. They weren't in last, but good news, bailed out of the race, and so now they take last.
Well, better luck tomorrow, fellas.
See, I'm not really sure where they lost the time. They look like they had a pretty decent start. Don't fully remember what they did on that first leg, but yeah, definitely, hopefully a better chance they have tomorrow.
So here we got the drone overflying Kids Cove over here off of Georgetown. A lot of the smaller boats anchored up in Kids Cove to get out of the weather. Here's you got the wonderful Exuma Regatta site with all the food and beverage booths. You got the stage there, middle right. We will do the presentations on Saturday night. Broadcast booth, right center, painted a pretty pink color. And there's a nice shot of the Regatta Park. Not a whole lot of people out here right now. Most of the people that are here are out on Regatta Point watching the A-boats finish.
I don't give it too long before it gets full out here tonight. I'd say around about 7, 8 o'clock, it's going to be packed.
It'll be jumping, there's no doubt about it. So, great finale race today. 4 great races under our belts. Thank you, Mother Nature, for not blowing too hard. We'll be packing it in a few minutes here and getting ready for tomorrow's broadcast. Thank everybody for tuning in. Please tune in again tomorrow. Tell all your friends. Download the NFIR app if you hadn't already. And my co-host Dwight is out for one of his kids' graduation tomorrow. So I've been informed that I'm going to have former Commodore Danny Strawn helping me out with calling the races in the morning. And in the afternoon, we're going to have Reb Philip McPhee out here to help me out. So that should be a hoot. We're looking forward to that. So once again, A-class races, finishing order, first place, Running Tide out of Long Island, second place, New Legend out of Long Island. Third place was
Silent Partner.
Silent Partner out of Black Point. So thanks for tuning in again, and we'll end out today's broadcast here. And we look forward to some more good racing tomorrow, and we'll see you then. Be sure to tune in.
Welcome to Paradise Games, where exceptional service meets the ultimate gaming experience. Our dedicated team is here to make every visit a win.
Now this is paradise.
This is more than just a place to play.
Now this is paradise.
It's where excitement meets world-class service.
Now this is paradise.
Now this is paradise.
Come, experience it for yourself. Now this is paradise.
Man, I gotta clean up in here, man, and they're dirty.
We look at giving you some help, man.
But who where's boy?
A talking tree?
Where is?
This is Panalan Pine Island, where every scent brings a different world. We've got lavender, floral, and moth. But today, it's about the pine. Try it.
All right, thanks, man. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, boy.
Huh?
2 push and 2 pace.
This magical pine pushing gives you 28 uses per bottle, twice as concentrated, all with real pine oil freshness. Panalan. Twice the power, twice the freshness.
With BGC's crystal clear mobile service, stay connected seamlessly, whether on land or at sea. Our reliable postpaid plans keep your loved ones closer, no matter where life takes you.
The road to progress is paved with purpose, and in Exuma, Bahamas Striping Group of Companies is leading the way. We're transforming communities with safer, smoother, and stronger roads. This isn't just infrastructure, it's empowerment, it's jobs, and it's a better future for Exumians. Bahamas Striping,